Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I am watching a thing on Robert De Niro and his reaction to people saying that Bill Clinton's behavior during his disposition was very suspect. You know, it was sus. It was suspicious. And it was. I'm sorry, but you are at a very serious congressional hearing where they are showing you files with you photographed in said files doing and claiming unspeakable atrocities. And he's smiling during this and pointing at pictures of himself. That's suspicious, Mr. De Niro. Just for the record. Okay, that being said, do you notice that all these Hollywood elites and Democrats seem to be connected in a lot of ways? And this whole thing with Jim Carrey, I'm sorry, there's no way in hell that man is Jim Carrey. No way in hell. And I know that seems crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But I have been a huge Jim Carrey fan since the beginning of his career. I've watched everything from Ace Ventura to all the way back to Liar, Liar, all of them. And that man is not Jim Carrey. I have yet to see him do the fireman skits, and Jim Carrey would know, because only one person ever did that good, and that was Jim Carrey. He's the only one that can do that face. But, so what is going on? Is Hollywood replacing people? Are they getting rid of certain people and replacing them? I mean, that sounds a little crazy, granted, but what the hell is going on in our country? We got Democrats and people who are literally condoning despicable behavior. I mean, behavior that you would never, ever think is good behavior or moral behavior or right behavior. There's rumors of the shit that you would never believe, the most disgusting. I read those files. I went through them. There's some dark, dark things. If that was your kid, I could tell you right now, you would want the people involved skinned. I'm just telling you. I would want justice immediately. Immediately, if that was my child. I would fight to the ends of the earth if that was my child. What is going on with the world where men and women who you think are intelligent are encouraging evil? It's like the elite protecting the elite just because they're elite. We need to bring that all to light, and we need to stop this nonsense. There needs to be accountability, or stop bringing up the damn files. It's that simple. If y'all can't have accountability happen, then you can't have this continue, because it's not fair to the victims of these crimes. Did you all forget about them? The victims? They're the most important ones. Not whether or not Bill Clinton never lied to the American people. Now, first of all, I don't care if Robert De Niro thinks it's a witch hunt. He's just an elite protecting another elite. You think I'm going to listen to anything any elite star says? No, I'm not. That's another thing that my husband just brought up and reminded me of. The other day I said to him, under oath, Bill Clinton made the statement, I do not like or am not attracted, or what, however he said it, I am not interested in women who are not of the appropriate age. This is what he said. So somebody then turned around and looked at him and said, wasn't your intern? How old is an intern? Was she inappropriate age? And as for Robert De Niro and all these elites defending Bill Clinton, listen, all due respect, Mr. President, Mr. Former President, rather, but nah, we don't buy into it. And I'll tell you why. Because it's the elite protecting the elite. For Robert De Niro to come out and say that, and all these people to say that Bill Clinton was this upstanding man who never ever lied to the American people. Never ever lied to the American people. Really. I never had any type of relations with that woman. Lie number one. Okay? First lie right there. The moment that came to light, he lied instantly. Instantly. Under oath he didn't. But when it came to the American people, oh yeah, he lied immediately to save face. Now, whether or not what he did was illegal or criminal, maybe it wasn't. Maybe she was of legal age. But regardless, I could tell you if that was your child, you would want justice on those files. Because I could tell you if any of my daughters were victim, I would want justice, and I would not stop until the breath left my body, until I made sure everybody involved paid. As a mother, that's what I would do. That's one thing. Now, would I get very far? Probably not, because they're rich and powerful. We all know that. The rich protect the rich. The elite protect the elite. Us working class, yeah, we don't matter. That's what everybody needs to understand. The powerful people, even including and not limited to our president. He's an elite. The elite protect the elite. And all this is two elites going at it. Or a couple of elites going at it. The Democrats versus the Republicans. They're all freaking elite. Anybody who quite literally can look someone in the eye and lie immediately without a glance, without blinking an eye, without missing a beat, just straight up says it with a straight face, not looking away, not glancing down, not any of the normal tells that happen. But anything like that, anybody that can do that would not have a problem lying continuously. That's all I'm saying. Now, whether or not, just because someone's mentioned in the Epstein files, and I do want to say this, just because someone is mentioned in the Epstein files doesn't mean they're actually guilty. This man, Epstein, disgusting, evil Epstein, who is, you know where. The point is, the two main players, one is down there, and the other's behind bars. Those are the two main players. They made sure they got them, okay? Everybody else that was involved, this man was a mover and a shaker. Just because you knew Epstein or even were friends with him at one point doesn't mean you were guilty of a crime. But it does kind of look sus when you're sitting in a congressional hearing, pointing at your own picture, smiling and reminiscing of the good times. And then sitting there telling the American people that you barely remember the man. I mean, come on. What is it? Are you smiling and remembering good times? Or do you barely remember the man? I mean, really. And then to have movie stars, actors, the elite try to gaslight us, and who are incredibly out of touch with the American people, try to gaslight us and make us believe something that we already know is a lie right off the get. I mean, come on. Come on. Really. People like Robert De Niro, Billie Eilish, all of them, all of the stars, all of them. You are literally trying to insult the American people's intelligence when you make those comments. You do not know what it's like for us. You have no clue what it's like to be us. You don't even know what it's like to live around us. You stay in your neat little bubble protected by high walls, security, and fences and armed guards, and tell us, the little people, what we should believe. This is why people get angry at you, because you make us feel like we have no intelligence. We should, what do you call it when somebody, puppets just go, yes, whatever you say, we believe you because you're Robert De Niro or you're Billie Eilish or you're this one, that one. No, we're smarter than that. We can see with our own eyes what's going on. Okay? Now, whether Bill Clinton was guilty of, what he was accused of, that is not for me to decide or anyone else but a judge. And because just do us a favor, Robert De Niro and all these other actors, stay in your damn lane. We want you to perform for us. We want you to entertain us. We do not want to hear your political views, because your political views don't matter to us. You want to know why? Because you have no freaking idea what it's like to live in a sanctuary state where illegal immigrants are protected and the American citizens are constantly in danger. Probably having illegal aliens work for you. But the point is the point I'm trying to make is that you don't know us. You claim like we should listen to you because we liked your movies, liked your acting. No, all we want from you is to entertain us. That's it. That's all. I want to see Robert De Niro play in a movie. Like, I don't know, The Godfather. Or I want to see Robert De Niro do one of his movies like, shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Give me a Robert De Niro movie. I know them all because I watched them all, but I can't think of one right now. Taxi Driver.
He's done so many.
Yeah, he's done so many, it's hard to keep track of them all. The point is you can't turn on a movie and possibly not see Robert De Niro. That's how big of an actor he is. And yet you want to tell us, the American people, that we should listen to you when it comes to your political views. Now, let me ask you, Mr. De Niro. I know you live in New York City. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you went to an actual grocery store in the sanctuary city that you live in? Had to decide what food to buy based on your income that week. Had to decide whether or not your children, whether or not you will eat so your children can. Okay. Had to decide whether or not you were going to put gas in your car or walk to work so you could buy groceries. Had to tell your child that they couldn't have a birthday party or go to summer camp because you just couldn't afford it. How many times have you struggled to get school supplies for your children or new clothes for them? So please do not act like you are like us, because you're not. Your political views are your political views based on what you know and how you live. You don't get affected by the high crime. You don't get affected by illegal immigrants taking your jobs. You don't get affected by the economy going in the shitter. You don't get affected by gas prices. When was the last time you pumped gas? You don't get affected by these things. Why? Because you're protected in your little bubble of stardom that we helped you get by watching your movies and your TV shows and making you money, tons of money. So much money that you don't know what to do with it all. To the point where you give some of it away to charities and such, which is good. Don't get me wrong. My point is, you tell us we should vote certain ways because this one's an elite, that one's a... So are you. So are you. And another thing, Robert De Niro, you are seriously needing to calm down and touch grass when it comes to the president. I don't agree with everything our president says or does. I really, truly don't. Some of the things I question, like, why would you do that? Why would you say this? Why would you say that? Personally, I think he talks too much for a president, and he's not really presidential. J.D. Vance, very presidential. Marco Rubio, very presidential. I would love to see either of those as the next president. Donald Trump was never a politician. So no, he's not presidential. But he does have certain qualities that I do agree with, like his America First. It should be America First. And when I watched the State of the Union and saw not one single Democrat stand up, and you people are so silly, you walked right into that trap. When he said, stand up if you agree with the following statement. Your number one job as a member of the government is to protect the American citizens, not illegal aliens or illegal immigrants or over illegal immigrants. And not one of you stood up. So when it comes time to vote, not one of us are going to stand up for you. Your blue wave, done. Done. Next election, we're not voting Democratic. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you. The American citizens will not vote. I would be highly surprised, other than liberals and people who actually hate Donald Trump so desperately that they will literally vote in America's worst interest just to keep him out of power or whatever. Okay? That being said, that derangement needs to stop. It's seriously sick. It really is. I mean, if you don't like the president, okay, you don't like him. You don't agree with his policies. So next election, you make sure you vote how you want. The behavior of these people since Donald Trump has been actually elected into office is absolutely abhorrent. I have been called, okay, not me specifically, but the American citizens who voted for Donald Trump have been called the most outrageous, abhorrent things since the election. Okay? Actions that are violent in nature have been taken out of people who dare wear a Trump hat or a Trump shirt. This is how deranged people have become over this. Okay? That's not all on Donald Trump. No. It takes more than one man to do that kind of thing. Okay? That's the Democrats pushing this agenda down our throats. And the elite stars who help pay for the Democrat Party. They're the ones who fund the Democratic Party. They're the ones who help keep them in power and help keep us down. So I know, why should we listen to people like that? Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro, all of them. I'm sorry. No. You don't like ICE? Tough. Don't be in America then. I don't know what to tell you. But there's not one single border or one single country, rather, that does not have border protection. Look what happened to one of our vessels in Florida when it just entered the waters of Cuba. Just entered accidentally. They blew it out of the water. Didn't question anybody. Didn't ask for ID. They just, see ya, bye, boom. Yeah, you're telling us that America should have wide open borders. What is wrong with you people? During the last administration, the borders were opened to the degree that where 18,000 people who were on known lists, who had known ties, direct ties to people on lists, came into this country under the last administration. We are now in a war with that country. Are you going to act surprised when something really tragic and bad happens? Are you going to say, why? How did this not get stopped? Well, gee, maybe if you didn't allow Joe Biden to have and Kamala Harris to have wide open borders, none of this would have happened. You don't get it. And no, what is wrong with doing it the right way? I'm sorry, what is wrong with legal immigration? My husband's family came over to this country from another country, and they legally immigrated into this country. They learned the culture, they learned the language, and they were proud to raise their right hands and take that oath. As a matter of fact, his grandfather became a town justice, and they were proud to do it the right way, to do it the legal way. What is wrong with that? Now, I will admit, is our immigration system perfect? No. Who the hell's is? Okay, whose is? No one's is, I'm sure. Does it need some reforms? Probably. But what I'm sick and tired of, and I'm sure a lot of Americans are sick and tired of it, is the constant battle back and forth between Democrats and Republicans acting like children. Do you know how incredibly disgusting it is to watch the State of the Union address and see a member of Congress, several members of Congress, screaming at the commander-in-chief of our armed forces, the leader of our country, screaming at him during a speech that he is supposed to give to the American people? Do you know how incredibly disgusting that behavior was from Ilhan Omar and her other pal there? I don't know her name. The point is this. I mean, even to the point where she brought a guest to the State of the Union. Who does that, by the way? A. B, I don't know if anybody actually ever did that. I've never heard of it, but maybe. Her guest got arrested because she was disrupting the State of the Union. How disgusting is this behavior? And then they still have not thrown her out of Congress. She's still a member of Congress, her and her pal. The statements that she made, and the reason, I'll tell you the reason in a minute. The reason, I think, will shock you, I think. She has made statements to the degree that are, in my opinion, very anti-American. To the point where she had a rally once in Minneapolis, I believe, where she had invited the president of Somalia, to come to her event and speak. She introduced this man as their president. Said, basically, Donald Trump's not our president. This man is. The president of Somalia is their president, her president, and their president. I guess she meant the Somalian constituents. I don't know. And she basically stated, and she stated then, that the United States government will do whatever she and the Somalian people wants and nothing else. Because she will, as long as she is a member of Congress, she will be looking out for Somalia's interests. Really? How is she still a member of the United States Congress? That's what I'm curious about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what the American people are sick of. The hypocrisy of it all. Okay? If somebody makes a statement like that, I don't care. If you don't immediately come out and apologize, you need to be booted from Congress immediately. No questions. No, none of that. You were on film saying this to the world, for all the world to see. You had no problem standing up and making that statement. So you have no problem when we call you out for it. That's the point. These people, these stars, and others like them of the elite class, they want to come out and tell us how we should think, how we should feel. That we should agree with them on all of these things because they're stars, they're movie stars, they're the elite. They know what's best for us. Do they really? Or do they want to protect their own interests? I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that have been thrown about. Pizzagate, all this other dark, demonic crap. Babies being put in freezers. I mean, allegedly shit that you would never, ever want to read in your entire life. Horrific, demonic things that you would never want to see or witness. And only 2 people have been held accountable for that. And it's what I think is really funny is all these conspiracy theories are starting to come to light that they were true, according to some, allegedly. And according to the Epstein files, allegedly. Now, the problem that I have, like I said, just because you knew Epstein doesn't mean, or even hung out with him, doesn't mean you did something wrong. Now, if you hung out with him after he was convicted of this, then there should be no question about your lawyer that you should be investigated. Because I'm sorry, if you know that he was convicted of this and you still choose to hang out with him, then you're automatically guilty in my eyes. There's something fishy there. Because I'm sorry, I would not want to hang out with that man. My husband definitely would not hang out with a person like that after they've been convicted of something like that. He would probably, if he was a true loyal friend, he would probably hang out with them, talk to them, get them like kind of into the trial. But once they were convicted, he'd be like, yeah, man, I thought you were innocent. And that would be it. But there were people who quite obviously didn't take that approach. There were people who continued after they knew he was convicted, hanging out with him. Those people are definitely need to be investigated. Now, this is all I'm saying. Either accountability needs to start happening or drop the freaking thing completely. Because it's not fair. Once again, it's not fair to the victims of these horrible, horrid crimes. Now, would I, as a mom, love to see justice happen for those poor victims? 110%. That man is gone. from this planet. Gone. He will never hurt another person. As a matter of fact, he's probably getting repeatedly punished down below. Okay? The other person involved. For her, I don't think she got nearly enough, because I'm sorry, she's a woman. She should have known better. She should have definitely protected those people. And she didn't. She didn't protect those kids. She didn't protect those victims. She should have been thrown away for life, in my opinion. But it is what it is. I don't make those decisions. But I think it's funny that she got a slap on the wrist. And she didn't even flip. As a matter of fact, she's trying to use. This is how disgusting. And yeah, I get it. I would do it too if I was in her position. I would never be in her position. But if I were in her position, I would do whatever I could to save my own skin. But that being said, she's literally holding the information she has on this man, holding it hostage within her. She could spill all the beans. We could have all the information we need. We can have the complete 100 unredacted truth without a problem from her lips. But she refuses to speak. Why? Because she wants out. She wants a sweet deal. She wants immunity. She wants to be left alone. She wants to be let out of prison. She's already living it up in prison. She's got a puppy, a service puppy that comes and visits her and she gets to play with. She's basically in a condominium jail type of thing. Not an actual hardcore prison. They didn't put her with the bad element. No. They put her with the people who didn't pay their taxes quite on time. Or people that, have billions of dollars. Yeah, those special jails. Yeah, that's where she's at. That's not prison. I'm sorry. She's not being punished, in my opinion. And my husband said, my husband would say something to the degree of, losing your freedom is punishment. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that statement, because you can lose your freedom and still have a lot given to you. And you could be quite content and happy living like that. If you don't think that she's quite content and happy living in her little jail cell, if she doesn't like people and doesn't want to be around society, she could just live it up in her little jail cell, have 5-course meals delivered to her, having a pet delivered to her. I mean, come on. That's not punishment. But again, she's an elite. The rules do not apply to them the way they apply to us. Everybody needs to understand that. This war with Iran, we've been there before. This now wasn't necessarily necessary? Absolutely. Absolutely, this needed to happen. And why are the Democrats pissed and people like these stars upset about this war? I'll tell you why. Because it's Donald Trump that did it. If Biden did it, they wouldn't say a word. We wouldn't hear anything but crickets from them. I'm just saying. That's the God's honest truth, the way I see it. If any Democratic president had done the exact same thing that Donald Trump is doing right now, they wouldn't have said a word. Where were they when thousands upon thousands upon thousands, maybe I think 50,000 the count was or something, the Iranian regime took out their own citizens, and Democrats never said a word. Nothing but crickets. And you talk about human rights? Really? Nah. These protests are lies. It's the elite trying to gaslight the American people into believing what they want them to believe once again. Now, if you want to buy into that, fine, that's up to you. I personally don't want to buy into that. I woke up. I see what is really going on around me. I'm sorry, but no. If you literally will sit there and abandon all your principles just because you don't like one man, there's something not good upstairs. Something's blinded you to truth and justice. Now, I know this has been a little scattered, jumping from one topic to another and back and forth and such, and there's a reason for that. Because that's what this country has become. Chaos. And it's not because of just Donald Trump. Did he have some part in that? I'm sure he is very divisive. That is true. But there's a lot of people. This kind of chaos didn't happen because of just one man. This kind of chaos happened because there was a whole group of elites and people who are working to push it and push that agenda and get us confused and get us divided. Why? Because when we're divided, we don't think for ourselves. When we're divided, we just are angry and emotional and react. We don't actually take the time to think and to do the research. They're throwing a talking point in front of you. Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. They throw something in front of you and go, don't look at this over here. Look at this. It's all a distraction. Now, the war in Iran and this Iranian regime was 100% necessary. The Democrats knew that. Why do you think Fetterman agreed with that? Several Democrats agreed with that. Why? Because the Iranian regime is evil. That's why. Not the Iranian people, but the Iranian regime. Now, I saw a couple clips from Iranian women who were talking on social media, and they were making statements regarding this war. The Iranian regime overthrew the Iranian government 47 or 48 years ago, something like that. And before that, Iran, before that, was a beautiful country with lots of freedoms. People were happy, healthy. They loved their country. They had national pride. They had freedoms. Women had choices. Women could do different things. They could dress how they wanted. They didn't have to be covered up from head to toe where only their eyes were showing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not saying there is. To each their own, as I say. But, this being said, these people were oppressed to the point where the Iranian regime, when these people were trying to start their uprising and were protesting in the street, the Iranian regime basically mowed down a bunch of, just done. No trial, no nothing. Why? Not because they did anything wrong, simply because they dared speak out against the Iranian regime. I mean, anybody who does that, there's something wrong with you. Okay? I'm just saying. Just saying. These are all the things that are going on in our country and have been going on in our country. I mean, everything from, like, this whole thing between Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, and Erica Kirk. I mean, come the heck on. What is wrong with people? First of all, the fact that anybody would lose their life just because you don't like their opinion on something is demented, sad, and disturbing, and you should never be allowed out of a prison again. I don't know. But that being said, that's my opinion on that. That being said, how do people start thinking this way? The radicalization. It's because our leaders are telling us, certain leaders are telling us things like, this person's a Nazi. This person's the modern day Gestapo. This person doesn't care about you. They're a threat to our democracy. They're a threat to your freedom. How do you think people are going to react to sentences like that? And you know that. When you say those statements, you know how people will react. They'll immediately go, can't have that. Oh no. What are they doing? I have to save my country. Do you see my point? That's how radicalization happens. That's how people like Renee Good get turned this way to do these things that they would normally probably never do. Okay? That's the first thing about that. These are the things that have been going on in our country, like I said. All these things since Donald Trump has been elected. To the point you can't go outside and say something and speak in public without fear of offending anyone. Okay? You can't. And I'm so tired of us being divided over stupid crap like our backgrounds, our parents' backgrounds, our religions, our creed, our races, or everything. We are all one race, the human race. God made us all in his image. So if you don't like your fellow person because of, I don't know, the religion, or I don't know, the color of their skin, or whatever reason, you are insulting God because God created that. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, there's another topic I want to touch on briefly. And I'm going to make this very brief. I put a post the other day under a senator. He's not one of my senators because he's from Texas. He's a senator person who's running for the state senate in, I believe, Texas. Anyway, this person, this James Tallarico, that's his name, he made some statements, and I've seen him make these statements on him talking to crowds. I don't know if he was a preacher or what he was, but he says he's Christian. Now, he's made some statements like God is non-binary. And again, I don't mean to offend anybody. He's talked about God loves the trans community, and God doesn't love things like that. God loves people. He loves his creations. Okay? That's one thing. And Mr. Tallarico, I would strongly suggest you read your Bible again. Deuteronomy, Matthew, and there's so many other books I could name. The point is I think you need to reread your Bible. I don't think that any Christian in good faith would say these things purposely to deceive. I would hope not anyway. But the Bible did say, Jesus did say, many will come and claim to know me. They do not truly know me. Now, I'm not saying that's the case here, quite obviously. Maybe James Tallarico, Mr. Tallarico, maybe you're a wonderful Christian. I do not know you. God bless. I will pray for you and for your people, everybody that you represent. But that being said, you made statements that led me to believe that you truly don't understand the Bible or God's messaging. It kind of leads me to believe that you never actually read the Bible, because if you did, you wouldn't make those statements like God is non-binary or whatever you call them, and other statements that you have made regarding the LGBTQ++ community, regarding the trans community, regarding all of that. Not that there's anything at all. I love those communities. Not that there's anything wrong with anybody. I love everybody the same, because that's not mine to judge. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Somebody said that once. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. That's what it tells me, is that he either didn't read the Bible and he's naive to what the Bible is about truly, or he just forgot, or because I can't possibly believe that he would do that purposely just to deceive and to bring people to his side politically. I would hope that's not the case. First of all, we still need the separation of church and state, regardless, because we left England because of that. Okay? I believe. That's what that war was, the revolution. I believe it was because they refused to separate church and state. I'm not sure, though. I don't remember. It's been years since I've been in school. So, that being said, and please feel free to educate me if I am wrong on any topic that I speak of, because I'm no expert. I certainly don't know. I can only tell you what I know and what I feel is certain ways. And I have read the Bible. And certain things God would find, and again, not mine to judge, but certain things God does not approve of. God would find that to be an abomination, as God said. Okay? Those are God's words. So if you have issue with those words, take it up with God. Because that's who feels this way. That's what this book said. Okay? So if you have issues with those statements, if you think the Bible is 100% wrong, God is wrong for thinking that way or whatever, that's up to you and God. Okay? That's got nothing to do with me. My point is, again, judge not, lest ye be judged. My point is, Mr. Tellerico, if you're going to spread God's message as your platform for political points, at least get it right. You need to reread the Bible. And yes, I did put a post up to his page stating this to him, because I don't feel that any message about God should be quieted down, because God bless him for spreading the message of love and peace and God. There's nothing wrong with this message. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, if you're going to use God's platform, get it right. Because there's certain things God would find to be not okay. Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed for a reason. God is vengeful when he wants to be. And if anybody misrepresents God in any way, he's going to have issue. And I know I'm not doing that. I get my messaging directly from that book. I will literally crack the book open and read it. Okay? That's my point. He needs to reread and re-educate himself. Please. Especially if you're going to use God's platform. That's all I was saying. Now, we have a lot of issues in this country. A lot of division. A lot of people who can't even come to... families dividing. And the Bible actually talked about all of this. You know, you'll hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation. Brother will stand against brother. Kind of sounding like these days, isn't it? And then they said, you will look for signs in the heavens, like the total eclipse and the blood moon. Yeah. Are we living in the end times? Not for me to say, because Jesus said, no man knoweth the hour that I come. Not any of the angels in heaven, nor I, but only the Father. So, Jesus was basically saying, nobody knows when I'm coming back except my dad. That's the point. Okay, guys? Don't be deceived. Crack open your Bibles and read those words for yourself. Deuteronomy. just Deuteronomy. Read the book of Deuteronomy. Read the book of Matthew. That's it. And then come back on and use that platform if you so choose. But do so in the right manner. That's all I'm saying. And, I mean, whatever his politics are, I don't even know, to be honest, because I didn't look into the guy because he's not somebody who would affect me. He's a state senator for Texas, not New York or any other state that I would live in. Now, if that were one of my state's senators, I would have real issue. I would be like, yo, don't be doing that, please, because you're wrong and don't say these things. But, again, not ours to judge. But all I'm saying is when it comes to any election, when it comes to voting for anyone, do your due diligence, because voting is not a joke. These people have the power. When we put them in office, these people have the power to change our lives, for better or for worse. So we need to keep that in mind, okay? When you're voting for a person, you need to keep that in mind. You need to do your due diligence. You need to look into the person. You need to really look into that person. You need to look in their background, their likes, their dislikes. That's all becomes public record the moment they run for an office. It all becomes public record. Their life goes under a microscope. And there's a reason for that. Because they have the power to change laws and to affect millions. Okay? So that's all I'm saying, is as an American citizen, your number one duty is to do your due diligence and to do your research. And always put God first in everything. That's just all I feel. Now, y'all might feel differently, and that's cool too, to each their own. I can only tell you what I believe and what I feel and what my faith teaches. That God is a loving God, yes. God is a forgiving God, yes. But God is also a vengeful God. And God does not make mistakes. He made a statement that stated, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Okay? Read those 2 books of the Bible. Better yet, read the Bible, cover to cover. You will never find a more fascinating book. It's got everything in it: action, romance, espionage, wars, everything. Destruction, death, everything. Everything you possibly want in a book, it's in there. It's the most fascinating book you will ever read. One of the best books you will ever read. One of the scariest books you will ever read. But I would recommend that you definitely read it before and do your due diligence. Don't just vote for someone because the other person's not quite good enough. Look into that person. And also, what's happened to our country that we can't get 2 people to go against each other for offices where one of those groups literally has, every single person has something bad against them or is in some way not a good fit. How do you And as for the Iranian war and the Iranian regime, make no mistake, this has been going on for hundreds of years. Long before Donald Trump's time. Long before any of us were here. This has been going on forever. To them, to the Iranian regime, this is a holy thing. Okay? You can't combat that kind of crazy. They are religious zealots. Okay? Not the Iranian people, not Muslims, Not any of that. No, I'm talking about the Iranian regime specifically. Not the religion, but the people, the regime. These men were evil. And I say were because they are no longer with us. Because say what you want about Israel, their Mossad, whew, they good. They literally just waited till they all got together and then took out the building. Even we're not stupid enough to put all our leaders in one place at one time. We're not that dumb. You don't do that. Common sense tells you. Anyway, but yes, there was real intelligence that the Iranian regime was about to get their hands on a nuclear option, if you know what I mean. There was intelligence. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. I don't know. I'm an average Joe citizen, so I have no clue if that's true. But that's what they say. And I trust the generals. I trust the military. I trust those guys the most. Out of all politicians, out of everybody else, I trust the military more than anyone else. Okay? And when a general steps up and says it was absolutely necessary, yes, then I trust that. Because no one knows it better than them. This regime has been a constant threat to us. If they had gotten what they wanted, and they were very close to getting what they wanted, the first target would have been Israel. The second would have been us. You're talking about a regime that has repeatedly burned our flag while chanting blank to America for years. For years. Again, not the people of Iran. I keep saying Iran for some reason. Sorry. Iran, not the people, not the citizens of Iran, not Iranians, not Muslims, but the Iranian regime. Those people, not the faith, not anything else. The people, they are evil. That regime was evil. So, yeah, it was absolutely 100% necessary. I stand with our president on that. With ICE, my opinion on ICE, they are federal law enforcement. You federal law enforcement, which means you follow what they say. If they tell you to step out of your vehicle, you do so. You put your hands behind, you follow their instructions. And guess what? You go home. You do something stupid, you take a chance that you don't go home. But yes, these are federal law enforcement. Whether you like that, don't like that, whatever, then you vote to change it. You don't protest violently in the streets. No, that doesn't do anything, just so you know. I don't know why people think that has some kind of big effect. Okay, so the Civil Rights March, yeah, that was different, though. That was a different time. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about the here and the now. The violent protests do not work. There is never a reason for that. Okay? That's what we're saying. Because all you do is turn people against you when you do that. Just so you know. If you feel that ICE is wrong, then you present that in an intelligent, educated manner. And you come up with the reasons and you tell us the reasons why ICE is wrong. You turn violent. You immediately shut down your protest because everybody turns against you instantly. Instantly. Okay? So there's that. Now, whether or not you agree with ICE or don't, they are federal law enforcement. You need to comply. That's just the way it is. Law enforcement, you comply. Don't be dumb. And I tell my kids that all the time. If you get pulled over, you follow their instructions to the T. And I don't want to hear that this one or that one gets treated. No. Now, are there evil people in this world? Yes, there are. You will find that with any religion, any faith-based, anybody could be evil. It doesn't matter where they came from, what they look like. None of that matters. You could be the nicest person in the world, and something bad happens in your life that makes you go cuckoo bananas, and then you turn evil. I mean, think about it, people. Let's stop pretending that this behavior is acceptable, okay? Because it's not. We all know it's not. A lot of the liberals and the Democratic Party, as of late, since Donald Trump ran for office again, have lost their damn minds. And when I say that, I say because they're sitting there trying to make us believe that it's acceptable to defend the indefensible. Men who harm children. Men who harm women. No, you are defending that? And you expect us to go, okay. Yeah, well, they're good guys because these guys are defending them. Have you lost your mind? That's the point. Let's stop losing the plot, people, and let's remember that we should divided we fall, united we stand. That's just the way it goes. So here's a little lesson for y'all. If you want our nation to fall, which would include you and yours in that scenario, okay? Because me and mine would be included in that scenario as well, because we are all in this nation. So if this great nation of ours were to fall, we would fall with it. There would be nobody saved. That's the point. If our great nation were to fall, that's what happens. So, united we stand and divided we fall. It's just known. This isn't the first time this has happened. I'm old enough to know that this is not the first time this country has been this divided. Okay? We can come back from this. We can come back from this. We just need to start standing together, listening to each other, talking to each other, communicating with each other, loving one another the way we used to. The other day, and this is my last thought, I saw a little lady get out of her car, struggling. She goes into the store, buys something, comes out. Nobody opened the door for her. So I ran over, I grabbed the door, opened it for her. She thanked me. I saw that she was struggling with her bag. I asked her very politely, "Ma'am, would you like a hand to your car with that bag?" She thanked me profusely and said, "Yes, absolutely, thank you. There's not enough of people like that in the world." That's my point. When we stop caring for one another, we're truly done. Humanity is done. So let's come back together, guys and gals, and realize that regardless of what our politicians say, regardless of what other people do and say, we are all one race, the human race. We're all brothers and sisters in God. We all should love each other and stand together. And don't let anyone or anything divide us ever again. Remember 9/11? We said we would never forget. And we would stand united no matter what from that moment on. What happened? Did we forget? I'm going to leave you guys with those thoughts. And I will catch you guys on the flip. Thank you to all my people out there. And I hope that you all have a blessed day. I love you all. And don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Help this video get out, because I think it's an important message that we all need love. We all need Jesus. We all need God. We all need to come together and stand united against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when I say stand, I mean stand together. Not fight together, not argue, not scream at each other. Stand together, arm in arm, hand in hand. One united nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remember that pledge? We used to have to recite it every morning at school. We used to have to stand, put our right hand to cover our heart, and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance every single morning. Do they even do that anymore? I don't think so. Leave you with that thought. Don't forget, guys, hit the like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the flip. Be kind to one another. Life's too short for all this nonsense. It really is. Catch you guys later. Remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and so do I.